Well, I'm unsure if it's... there we go. Yay!
Good professional start there.
Starters seem to go on. So, hi everyone. Welcome to Raptors in the Kitchen's first cultural exchange video where myself, Paco Rodriguez, hi, that's me, and Paul Faulkner.
Hello, everyone.
We swap movies in attempt to broaden our cinematic horizons because I've went on air several times in the podcast with an outpouring of hatred for musicals, which I think Paul wants to rectify.
I take great exception to, and of course I'm on the other side where anytime Paco dares trying to bring up anime, I roll my eyes and leave the room.
Yep. So, this is an attempt to give more credibility to the largely misunderstood world of anime.
One film at a time, just you're turning everyone.
Yeah, first stop you, Paul. Next stop the world.
And I want to bring back the golden age, the classic musicals, the MGM brilliant wonderfulness. And I think my starting point might be a wee bit questionable.
A bit iffy. So without any further preamble, because we've already rattled on off air for a good 10-15 minutes.
Can't help it, we don't know how this works.
So the first movie we're going to talk about is one that Paul obviously recommended to me for fucking unknown reasons.
Well, I'll give you a couple of reasons in a wee bit, but you go off.
Yeah, it's Repo, the Genetic Opera, and that is directed by Darren Lynn Bousman and written by Darren Smith and Terence Zunick. Is that right?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
And others, it says.
It's the same guys, but they did the play, so they then came along and adapted it for the film.
Yeah, and they also are in the movie. Terence Zunick is only in it briefly near the end. He's like a crazy composer that's kind of going down the red carpet during the actual Genetic Opera itself at the end of the film.
Okay, yeah.
Darren Smith is the grave robber.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, before we even get anywhere into this, I'd like to say that those two being the ones that wrote it and they did the stage show, I think are the worst thing about the film.
Just stand out for you. That may be quite a selfish thing that they got themselves put in there.
Well, they clearly know the show better than anyone else, and Darren Lynn Bousman, who is the director of Saw 2 and 3, I'm to understand.
He was very heavily involved in that. He was pals with kind of James Wan and all of them. Yeah, he's got that kind of violence porn running through his veins.
Well, he seemed to value their writing abilities and stuff, and was obviously a fan of the stage show before he even got in touch with them.
Yes, yeah.
Because that was one part of I watched the featurette stuff as well.
Oh wow, okay. Oh, putting me to shame.
That's when I realised that the terrible people in the movie were actually the people who made it. So, Repo, the Genetic Opera, is a futuristic dystopian musical where the plot is that there was an epidemic of organ failure on a global scale. So is that a pandemic, possibly?
Yeah.
One that's bigger than it. They say epidemic in the movie, but they make a point of saying that it's worldwide. So I think that's a pandemic. So during this crisis, where everyone's kind of just dying of organ failure left, right, and centre, a company called GeneCo come out as the world's saviour by selling organs to people in a much more commercialised way than any emergency services has done in the past.
Yeah, lots of kind of add-ons to it and lots of weird kind of techno spins.
And the spin on it being that if people can't afford the surgery, then you can get an advance in surgery from GeneCo, and then you have to keep up your payments. And if you don't, they send the Repo Man after you, which is where the movie gets its name. And he essentially kills you to take back GeneCo's organ property.
He doesn't kill you, he just takes back the organs, and then unfortunately you're unable to survive without those organs.
That's the thing, though. I would kind of like it if that was the case, but it isn't. that's like one of my problems with the film is that he just flat out murders people when he doesn't have to. Like a, it's like like he's like in order to steal back one guy's liver, I think it is, he slits his throat first.
That's you've got to have pride in your work, don't you?
I suppose it reduces the struggle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, can you imagine trying to get somebody's liver without them being dead?
Yeah, I would imagine. So, as well as the story of this kind of genetic disaster going on, which is like a really grand plot device, the crux of the movie is actually a lot smaller in scope. It's a lot more self-contained. It's about a family's inner struggle to find the heir of Gene Coe. So it follows a lot of what's essentially the movie's villains in this. So the main, the CEO of Gene Coe is dying. They don't really explain what it's of. I think it's maybe kind of some kind of cancer. And his three heirs are fighting over who is going to take control of the company, but he doesn't like any of them, and he's looking for a new poster child to take the company from him.
Yeah.
So, did you get a chance to rewatch this again recently, or has it been a while since?
It's been a wee while, which is unfortunate because I wanted to kind of. Although just before we'd kind of come on, I sort of sat on the very kind of slyly sat on the Wikipedia page and read through the plot quite quickly just to kind of remind myself of all the beats, if not the songs. Right.
So before we get into what I did like and didn't like about the film, do you want to give us your reasons for subjecting it to me?
Like you've been very open about how the contempt you have for musicals, and so the hope with kind of taking on Repo was that it's incredibly different. The music is kind of rockier, and the whole style of it is far. I mean, it's a little bit sci-fi, which I know you quite enjoy. And the world's so fantastical that I kind of hope that maybe that all of that would kind of carry you through. The music itself, I remember when I was speaking a wee bit to you at one point or another about how the first time I watched it, I ended up watching it 3 times over a 2-day period where I was incredibly unwell, and it sort of became this nightmarish fever dream to keep watching it over and over again, where I was just almost hallucinating just the horrors and the
having now watched it, I can see that being an actual good frame of mind to be in.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's certainly a film that is easier to digest when you're not quite with it.
Yeah, yeah. Is that a good thing? And I hope that would kind of some of the music and some of the lyrics specifically, and some of the meter within the music isn't kind of a simple 4/4 sort of bum 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 bum. It does kind of go into strange weird patterns of delivery. In the title it does say it's an opera, and so there's that element to it where there's, I would say, more singing in it than there are in other musicals, and most of the dialogue is singing. So that's something which I was kind of. I mean, you've spoken about how you really didn't like Sweeney Todd, and which again is one of those that has a lot of singing in it, and a lot of speak singing in it. So that worried me a wee bit.
Which that is like a one of. I like the thing is I can understand people who that is the draw to them, that they like that about it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the part that makes it an opera and not just a musical?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
But for me, that was one of the most grueling things about it. Like, there was so many bits where people they're just bursting into verse and singing things that didn't need to be sang. And I found myself kind of just wishing they would talk.
Come on!
Like four or five different points in the movie, I was like, what they're singing doesn't have any rhythm to it. It doesn't have any melody. It doesn't flow. It doesn't sound like a song. But like they're singing the words, and it just makes it harder to digest, and it just took me away from the movie. I just didn't appreciate it. I just didn't like that part of it.
There's definitely parts of it, and I feel like, I mean, I have no idea about the kind of careers of the writers, and whether they've written other stage musicals, what their kind of musical credentials are. But it sort of comes across as somebody who isn't, or people who aren't maybe especially experienced, or purposely are trying to go against what is commercially acceptable or seen as the acceptable within musicals. But I thought basically the reason I chose it was it's very different. And I
Yeah,
thought that would be a good starting point for you. Whereas, I mean, you kind of picked a kind of classic anime film, which may have been a smarter thing to do. But what did you think of Repo the Genetic Opera?
right. Well, at first, at first, I tried to watch it with my flatmate Tommy, who's also on Raptors in the Kitchen, for anyone who listens to that show. But at first, we had to turn it off because neither of the two of us was enjoying it at all. We watched about maybe 40 minutes of it, and it was just really inaccessible. It was really just unpleasant to the ears, I would say, which is like, and
That's
like,
a bad thing. That's a bad
yeah,
bad.
for something that's supposed to be considered a musical. Like I put this on Facebook as well, like at the time, but like if the music isn't good, doesn't it kind of then follow that it's a bad musical?
If the scares
Yeah.
aren't good, then it's a bad horror film. If the action's bad, then it's a bad action film.
Like if a comedy isn't funny, it's a bad comedy.
Yeah, yeah. I would say it kind of depends what the music's doing. Like the music might sort of be purposely playing to sort of create a specific mood, I suppose. But yeah, I think that's a fair kind of. If you're not enjoying the music, then it'll be very difficult for you to enjoy the musical.
And like, in the first viewing, I did find it immensely unenjoyable. But like,
Can I ask on that first viewing, how did you find? Like, I mean, because I think one of the most appealing things about it is the world. That is something that I really like, and I like the way it's all designed. I like the kind of colors, I like the fashion. I like the son who's wearing the other guy's face.
yeah.
How did you kind of find all that on the first viewing?
Like I went into this with as open a mind as I could do, and like I'm not like huge into comic books, even though like I'm quite geeky and nerdy in a lot of ways. Comics is one thing that just never really grabbed me too much. So I did like the opening kind of comic aesthetic to it, and everything has like a kind of CG'd filter tilt to it, like it almost looks like rotoscoping, like in the intro and stuff. And that all seems alright. It's like quite a look at this stage in cinema, kind of filmmaking. Even we've seen these kind of dystopian cities like frequently done a lot of times, and I think that this time around, like the film, it had an 8.5 million budget, $1 million budget. Sorry, that is.
Yeah.
I think that even for that amount of money, like that's not like a huge amount of money for a film, but I would have expected it to kind of look a bit more polished than it was. Like everything just looked kind of cheap and grimy, and like a set rather than like.
I would definitely agree with that. Yeah, I would definitely. And there's certain like shots of kind of the city from sort of sky sort of views and stuff as it's traveling around, and that looks kind of not great.
So like one of the first things that I thought about it, like it starts off with a scene with the grave robber. I forget his like there's the guy Darren. I forgot his name already. Darren something. And instantly, as soon as he appears on screen, he looks like someone you would see in like a low budget like student stage production, I think. So that kind of didn't really lend itself well to my initial opinions. Like he reminded me so much of Richard O'Brien from the Rock Horror Picture Show, but just done not as well. So yeah, like I was struggling to like it from the get go, and certainly in the first half hour to 40 minutes, there's like several times where the music starts to pick up and someone starts to sing a line from what could be recognised as an actual song to me.
Okay.
But it only ever lasts for like one or two lines, and then they go back to just breaking the rhythm, breaking the tempo, and singing rather than kind of continuing on with it. And I don't know, it was like my initial impressions were definitely very, very negative.
Mm-hmm.
But on rewatching it and having a better idea of what was coming up, I paid more attention to the cinematography and all that sort of stuff. Like the movie is actually really well directed. There's a lot of really creative and inventive shots in there.
Yeah.
All the parts where it is gratuitous violence. Like they're well done, which is kind of odd to say, I suppose. But the director clearly was practiced from the Saw movies.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Saw 2 is definitely a step up in kind of the nasty, real violence.
And then the inclusion of, I'm going to try and find the actor's name here first, Anthony Head.
I was gonna come to that and ask you about a couple of the different actors, but sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, so he was Giles in Buffy, which is, as soon as he appeared on screen, I was like, oh man, that's Giles from Buffy. And like, I wasn't really listening to what he was saying for the first 10-15 minutes because I was
You're getting over that.
yeah, if I'd seen him in anything other than Buffy. He was pretty decent in it. Like he got really involved in the role. Okay, later on in the movie, he certainly becomes a more interesting character. His voice is excellent. Like there's times where he really batters out a tune near the end.
Well, there's the really famous scene in. I mean, maybe it's just in my memory. I think within Buffy fans, where they discover Giles playing like an open mic night, playing the guitar and singing the Who, and it's like a really big like, what? Giles has a personality.
The whole Duke Silver thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like he was really good in it, and then the thing that really started making me endear what's the word I'm looking for? Started making me warm to the movie was Alexa Vega, who is the main girl in it. She plays Shiloh. Shiloh. Do you remember her much?
Yeah, the dog who wanted to be friends. Do you remember that movie? Along with Andre and no, maybe you were a bit old for it by that point. It was just one of those kind of VHS movies, Homeward Bound and such.
Right. I'll take your word for it. She has an absolutely phenomenal voice.
Yes.
You can tell a mile away that she's an absolutely excellent singer. Like she's also really attractive, which obviously helps.
She's all gothed up in it.
Yeah, like man, if only goth chicks looked that good in real life. But yeah, like when she starts having a bigger part in the film, when she's in it more, because like even though like she eventually becomes the person that you go to sympathise with, and she's essentially the only likable person in the movie by design.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
When she has a bigger part of it later on, like when she's, because like her story is this kind of classic, like damsel in the tower kind of thing. Like she's never been allowed outside her house, like, but she's still free spirited enough that she leaves of her own accord and goes on adventures and stuff. And she wants to live. She wants to experience life, and she's all adventurous. That's like I liked her character in it, and she was perfectly cast, I suppose, as the kind of person that you want to emphasise with in this movie. What else was I going to say there? Yeah, so when she comes into it, and especially when there's a character called Blind Mag.
Yes, yeah.
Who is the current poster child for Gene Co. And is the person who sings in the actual Genetic Opera. She's played by Sarah Brightman, who is an actual opera singer in real life. And I only know her from her very brief part in The Fifth Element, but she was excellent in it as well. So her voice is amazing. She looked like, stylistically, like the character design looked fantastic. The songs that she started to be in were a lot more agreeable to me. They were a lot more melodic and just enjoyable. Mm-hmm. So like the second half of this film totally picks up on all the kind of oddities and kind of nastiness of the first half and just mixes it all up and throws it at you in a more kind of, I don't even know what the word for it is. There's something off about the entire thing, but like off in a way that kind of makes you feel good about it. I don't know.
Kind of endearing, and just it sort of you kind of fall into the groove of the kind of the niche it's trying to carve out, I suppose. Yeah.
It's like everything about it is like so over exaggerated, and like it's like that whole kind of tried and tested mixture of hedonism and lack of morals, like just running rampant and going to the nth degree kind of thing. It's like by the end it's just a big cacophony of just oddities getting thrown at you, and you're either gonna take to it and appreciate it for what it is, or reject it wholesale, which is I think what Tommy would have done if he'd stuck around.
Yeah, you had to go through any more of it.
Yeah, the movie certainly picks itself up, and like all the stylistic choices make more sense towards the end.
Yeah.
As you said, like the brother who wears other people's faces, like the fact that he's this kind of big butch guy, like the actor's known as Ogre in real life.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he's a really kind of prissy character in it. Like all that sort of stuff. Like even Paris Hilton like kind of plays a part well. Like
I thought she was surprisingly very good for her wee bit.
Yeah, like the song she does at the end when her face is falling off, which even just when you hear that line sounds odd. It was all well done. Like essentially by the end of it, I didn't hate it, but I don't think I would ever watch it again.
I will absolutely take that. Well, right, okay. You didn't hate it. We should have come up with some kind of category sort of reward thing. Would you recommend it?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's fine. Yeah.
Like, also, I should probably say here that the idea is for this kind of cultural exchange is supposed to be to broaden my horizons in the terms of our horizons, yours as well. We'll get to that later on though. But mine's just now in the terms of musicals and what the appeal is and where the appreciation lies in these. But so far in this first one, all it's really done is help to outline what I dislike about musicals. That is the disjointed melodies and the just
reliance on singing.
Well, no, exactly. It's just the over dramatised characters. Like I'm not really a big fan of things being extremely flamboyant for the sake of flamboyancy itself.
That's something which almost, specifically with Repo the Genetic Opera, it was something that I kind of thought, I might bring this up, and then it didn't quite fit. But since you've now kind of fed into it, Repo is obviously kind of playing into the tropes of sort of classic opera with the kind of huge family drama and the kind of way that all of these different various plot ties all come together at the end in this kind of massive big explosion, and the way that sort of this innocent character has to make this giant moral dilemma. The one thing that she's ever wanted is to have freedom, and then Rote Largo, the CEO, is now offering her, as you say, hedonism beyond all our wildest dreams, all the freedom she could ever want, but is it worth that kind of cost? It's a very traditional ideas of what an opera is, a traditional opera plot put into this kind of psychotic setting. Yeah,
I think the intricacies of the kind of final act are definitely what kind of left me with a more positive outlook on the film, because it's like if you'd given a Coen Brothers script to Terry Gilliam. That's what this movie's like to me. Yeah, it's like No Country for Old Men or Blood Simple. Like that kind of total. It starts off simple, and then just by the end of the movie, it's a complicated mess of who interacted with who and for what reason. The motives are just all over the place, and but that was enjoyable though. Like the family ties at the end, and the whole movie builds to that end, and it's a satisfying conclusion to the film. So that was good.
That's something. No, thank you, Paco. Thank you for watching Repo the Genetic Opera, for taking a risk on me.
You're welcome, Paul. You're welcome. I think for a first effort, it was good to certainly watch something outside my comfort zone, which is what it was.
Let me tell you about watching stuff outside your comfort zone.
Are we talking Ghost in the Shell, Paul?
Yeah, you sent me 1995's Ghost in the Shell, and this is, I can't talk for anybody really outside my own kind of experience, but Ghost in the Shell always feels like one of those animes which sort of made, outside of kind of the really big Studio Ghibli ones, like Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away, is it feels like one of these really iconic animes which made its way outside of the genre to kind of sort of mainstream awareness, I suppose.
Yeah.
And going into the one bit of experience or knowledge or awareness I had of it was an old PlayStation demo that we had.
Yeah. Where you're running about the city in a spider tank.
Yes, yeah. That's exactly.
Nothing like what Ghost in the Shell is.
Well, yeah, like I was about to say, like I have no idea where that game falls into the chronology or what it's based on. Because I mean, I really like it comes up at the beginning saying that unsurprisingly something in anime is based on a comic book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had no idea going into this what it was about. And so to try and summarize Ghost in the Shell, again, we're in the near future. We have basically the internet's kind of come in, and I mean, that's one of the big things.
Bear in mind that this was 1995.
Exactly, that's one of the massive things for me is I had to keep thinking like, yeah, holy shit, like, there's a Simpsons episode where. Sorry, I know this is. I know I don't have Tommy and Alan around. I don't know.
If there's not a Simpsons reference there somewhere, something's gone wrong.
Where like Homer ends up stealing cable, and I was listening to the commentaries of it, and they were talking. They were sort of saying like, I mean, you've got to think about this was like '94. This was way before cable and satellite television was a big thing that everybody had. We were like ahead of the curve. We were thinking outside the box of morality tales we could tell. And in the exact same way, like you've got to take into consideration, this was way before the internet was around and Snapchat and Facebook and identity fraud and when I mean for only businessmen, the worst worry was like not passing on the email to 10 people so their wife didn't die or whatever.
Yeah.
So sorry, in the movie there is a kind of the police, I suppose, like androids exist or robot people exist. Or, yeah, that seems sort of fair.
A cybernetic government task force.
Yes, yeah, exist who are kind of in charge of dealing with crime, and there's things that kind of people identify as ghosts, which seems to basically be sort of your soul, I suppose.
Yeah,
cybernetic.
Another word for consciousness is the way it seems to come across.
And there's this kind of cyber criminal who is hacking into people's ghosts using the internet, who they call the Puppet Master. And so it basically is down to a couple of these specialist android task force cops to try and hunt down the Puppet Master. But the further on you get, you realise there's far bigger games afoot, unsurprisingly, and that it brings up kind of questions of humanity and kind of what do we count as being human? What would it mean for a computer to gain consciousness? Do they potentially have a greater right or a greater I can't think what the word is. Like a greater right to the kind of claim of existence than we do. And it was a lot of like, well, right, okay, I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I really, really enjoyed it. I'm prone to I did my 4 years of philosophy, so I'm quite prone to, I think, a lot of these kind of ideas. There must be essays out there with every single thinker that Ghost in the Shell kind of taps into, and it kind of so much kind of existentialism and Descartes specifically in various times. There's the Bible quote which you had kind of pointed out to me to be prepared for. Which I liked the way that was kind of it was hinted at the beginning, the kind of weird sort of abstract voice, and like I was
It's one of the are you struggling just now to really kind of compose your thoughts? It's a hard film to take in.
That's like I don't know like what I mean. To talk about it is to kind of take so many individual little conversations. There's stuff. One thing that, and I don't know if it's quite an anime thing. I don't know if it's maybe that time period. I don't know exactly. Compared to so many films, which you've got like the really slow kind of first 15-20 minutes, where they're having to set up the world for you. Ghost in the Shell just drops you right in it.
Yeah.
Just like catch up with us. And then in actual fact, like as it goes on, they have, instead of front loading you with lots of exposition, they instead have a number of quite awkward. So tell me this again, please. Blah 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 blah. Here's all the details for the past 3 months. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm not sure which way I like better. One thing actually, sorry, just for a wee second. There was. I put on the subtitles because I thought like, I want to, I like having subtitles on when I'm watching films, and they didn't match like at all between the English.
That's that you get with anime. It's because it's not like a massive thing in America and the UK, a lot of the times the subtitle tracks are done by fans.
Oh, okay.
And like more so because it's being translated from Japanese as well. Like the subtitles have been translated from Japanese, then the English audio track would have been someone else doing that, translated from Japanese as well. So that's why it doesn't match up.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's quite common. Really, if you're watching an anime, you should either be watching it with the Japanese audio and the English subtitles, which like a lot of people get quite snooty about that. Like there's a lot of snobbery goes on in anime if you watch it with the English dubs. Like admittedly, like I think that a large part of the negative the kind of attitude towards anime that the public has is because the English dub is normally pretty bad, because like it's all really squeaky, screechy, like loud women noises. Like that's isn't so bad. That's not what I meant. It's like really irritating, high pitched, like
it's kind of video game acting.
But like video game acting from the 90s, like the anime, anime audio tracks haven't really progressed from that, other than in Studio Ghibli, because they've got all the kind of funding of Disney behind
them. Yeah. And they've got the Oscar now, so that people are suddenly lining up to do it because it's an artistically interesting choice.
Yeah, but that, like the kind of the common thing, like it's always the same English voice casters normally. Like there'll be like so many different animes where you hear it and you know for a fact that it's the same voice actor who did like 10 other animes that year, and they always do that whole thing where it's like, even though it's a 40-year-old woman, she's trying to sound like a 10-year-old girl.
Ah, okay, right, yeah.
That whole screechy, squeaky thing that's just really annoying. But yeah, Ghost in the Shell doesn't really have that though.
No, I thought all the voice acting was good. Slightly. I suppose if the criticism is slightly robotic when half the cast are androids, then it's probably not that big a criticism. Slightly lifeless, but again, yeah, that's part of the point and part of the charm of it. I really, really liked the arc of kind of the lead character, who she's one of the officers who I suppose is becoming more concerned about what it kind of means to have emotions, and what it kind of means. Like, is she alive? Is she human? Does she have a claim to anything?
Yeah, the fact that the government own her body, essentially.
Yes, yeah. And if you strip all that away, then are the thoughts that she has actually hers, or are they just being filtered in from some kind of internet or online program? Are they hers, or are they synthetic, just repercussions of the way the reactions are happening? And then kind of she sees the chance of the puppet master, as it turns out, kind of as this example of singularity, I suppose. It's kind of self-possessed.
Like, this is again amazingly interesting. I mean, fair enough. The concept in case people don't know, like, this is one of the things with making videos on the internet. So you have to kind of talk like everyone's an idiot, or not so much an idiot, but like everyone doesn't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm absolutely going to edit that out later. But for people who haven't heard of it before, the singularity is a philosophical concept of the point in the kind of, what the fuck am I trying to say?
It's when AI becomes self-conscious.
Yeah, it will be the point when computers are advanced enough that they will be able to upgrade themselves. Like they will be intelligent enough and self-aware enough to be able to upgrade themselves, like beyond the means that we could ever do for them. And even back in 1995, I mean, like, the internet in that time was just so limited, like to essentially the military and like a few really, really rich people back in 1985 had the internet. And to have the idea there that a consciousness was kind of formed and started thinking for itself within the web is quite ahead of its time, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you think about that, earlier this year, Wally Pfister was given a whole bunch of money with Johnny Depp to make that exact movie.
Yeah.
it shows just how relevant this kind of topic and idea has stayed. And I mean, obviously, as drones and stuff start coming into the world, it only becomes more and more a threat, I suppose. And yeah, I liked that kind of. I liked the sort of what does the singularity, if it does exist, what does that mean as a repercussion for existence and for humans. I liked. I really like in sci-fi. I like when sci-fi movies don't take kind of the stress and pressure from sort of Hollywood for the final act to be this big shootout, and instead they're willing to allow just a little bit of quietness to happen, and instead just kind of battle with the problems that they have raised, and especially when they then take it to the logical end instead of the kind of cop out, which you see so often in things.
Can I just interrupt a wee second? That just brought the biggest smile to my face, because you right there just referred to this as a movie and not as an anime. It's working, Paul.
Right, for a lot of the movie, sitting watching it, I was like, yeah, okay, I get, yeah, this is okay, I guess, this is fine, but I'm still not really enjoying it, but by the end it was no, this was a good story, very well told, a very clear idea set out, and not even the completely unnecessary nudity ruined it for me.
Which it is unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's one aspect of Ghost in the Shell that I wish wasn't there.
It was one of the weird, I thought, maybe, she kind of needs to be naked to, if you're wearing clothes, it wouldn't be affected by it. But then there was the guy in the white hoodie round about the bin man kind of scenes. And I was like, no, he's fully dressed. Okay, I guess maybe she just kind of, for her comfort, likes to be naked. She's like, this is when I do my best gymnastic work.
Even when, it throws in that, entirely redundant scene of her going through the kind of processing tanks and all the kind of paint going on her, then the kind of outer filaments of the paint stripping off, and that really close up shot of the nipple.
Yeah.
Just unnecessary. It's very, very unnecessary.
Yeah, but
did you find the art style distracting, or did you like the art style, or?
Yeah, I liked it. I like the kind of generally quite realistic kind of approach to it. It felt like a lot of the people. I mean, it's based in some sort of futuristic Japan. It felt like quite a lot of the designs around the people specifically were quite Western, though.
Yeah. Again, that's very common.
Yeah. Okay.
Even in video games, there's loads of things like Ryu and Street Fighter's Japanese, but to look at him, you wouldn't really think he was Japanese.
Okay.
It's quite common for especially when you look at a lot of the kind of subculture in Japan, a lot of them adore kind of Western styles and stuff. So it's that kind of weird, quite off thing where they're trying to look American, but they look distinctly Japanese because of it.
That's the I think that's just you love what you can't have, because we have that with your kawaii people who. It was really weird because your camera kind of paused and you were just trapped in a wee blink. Your eyes were just closed, and I was like, "Have you fallen asleep on me?"
A giant tear up here next to my face. So you said you enjoyed the film. Quite unashamedly, I did pick it because I think the question I asked you just before I picked it for you was, you studied philosophy, didn't you? So. You said you liked it. What were your kind of preconceptions going into this? What's your kind of back history with anime? Is it just Ghibli films you've watched, or?
Yeah, primarily it's Ghibli, and even then, it's all kind of the very mainstream ones. I've not even really dipped my toe. Although since I saw, I think Ponyo was the first one I saw in the cinema, and since then I've seen they released Ariete. They released The Wind Rises as well, and there might be another one that's been in the. I don't think I saw. There was Up on Poppy Hill, which I didn't see in the cinema. But I have since kind of getting into the Studio Ghibli. I've tried to keep up with any that are released in cinemas over here, so that I can try and kind of keep informed as possible. I also have seen the Professor Layton anime film.
I didn't. I thought that was just a game. I didn't realize there was an anime for that.
It was one of the like it was the first time that I became aware that Glasgow Loves Anime existed, and they had on a showing of it, and I love the games, and so it was just a chance for me to be like, oh, big nerd, let's go and solve a mystery.
So to throw your question back at you, would you recommend this to someone else?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the bad sides of it is that a lot of the dialogue feels a wee bit janky. It's very kind of let's put the entire story on hold for this scene just so we can kind of talk about big ideas. But on the other hand of it, that makes it a wee bit more accessible for people kind of to deal with very big ideas. I mean, not Her is one of the kind of great examples of a sci-fi film which very cleverly winds all the ideas through everything that happens. But this is a very effective style of storytelling. And it does raise a lot of interesting questions. It does get you thinking, and I think it would. I, I just can't imagine, or I can imagine people just their entire mind and way of thinking being blown up by this film.
Especially like watching it as a teenager, where everything just seems so much more important. Like,
That's
was my favorite movie for a long, long time.
it was like the copy of the film that I watched was Danny's little brother's, who at the moment is 15, and he is exactly that age, and he's kind of getting into anime, and he's getting into the kind of a lot of that Japanese culture kind of stuff. But he did kind of, was just horrified that I'd never seen it, and immediately sort of as soon as he could put it in my hands and said, "You need to watch this now."
Yeah.
So you can see that shaping for him, and he's now starting to come up with big ideas and trying to sound smart, and I don't appreciate it.
And you think that's Ghost in the Shell's fault?
I think, yeah, exactly that. Even the title, I came to just the more and more the film went on, I was like, yeah, that's a fucking good title, really, really great. Just it's such a cold way to describe anybody, even to apply to the humans, that you're just a consciousness in this withering, temporary shell.
Yeah.
Right.
So would it excite you to know that there is a sequel to Ghost in the Shell?
Not necessarily, no.
No.
I think that they told a very good story there, and I feel like they'll either retread kind of the philosophical ideas in a less effective way. They'll get more focused on a kind of crime story, which isn't necessarily what interested me the most about it. I don't. Is the sequel good?
I really enjoyed it, but at the time that I watched it, I was of the opinion that Ghost in the Shell was the best thing I'd ever seen.
Okay, so yeah, you might be a wee bit biased at that point, but you've been kind of willing to live on it.
You're kind of hitting a few of the right chords there, though. Like the second one doesn't focus on the main character from the first one. It focuses on Battle, which was her partner.
Yeah, the gentleman. Yeah.
With the robot eyes.
Aye.
So like it's much more a kind of detective kind of story where there's a series of sex bots that have started freaking out and killing the people who have bought them, and then they kind of go on a big investigation to find out what's happening, and it turns out that these things aren't robots, that people have been being abducted, girls have been being abducted, like young girls, and stripped down to nothing but their brain, and that's been getting put in these sex bots, and that's why they're becoming homicidal. And like the main character from the first one doesn't really come into it until the end.
Yeah.
She's there to help Battle out when he gets in over his head. But like it's faithful to the first movie, and like all the stuff that happened in the first movie, like kind of makes you empathize even more with Battle. And when the Major comes back into it, like it's a total kind of nostalgia. Here we go moment. This is what we're all waiting for. She gets to kick ass.
Back together.
Yeah, exactly. Like you see her doing what she does best, which is like destroying everything in the room. But like as well as that, it still maintains the kind of more intellectual, cerebral kind of ideas that you throwing them at you, like what is consciousness and all this sort of stuff that were there in the first movie, but this one kind of adds a little kind of different tint to it.
I really, really liked, about destroying stuff. The kind of spider guard bot thing.
Yeah.
Really liked how they dealt with that, I suppose, by making her or by not kind of letting her just become this kind of super woman. This kind of, just because she's a robot doesn't mean that she's the powerfulest thing in the world, the most powerful thing in the world. And the whole approach to that scene was really great. And I like that was one of the moments where I realized, oh, like there's something really good going on in this film, because I was tense watching it, and even though it's not a real person, I didn't want her to die or get hurt.
Yeah, like that scene as well. Like it has like a shot in it that like always sticks in my mind, and like it's intentional. Clearly, that it's supposed to stick in mind. Where the robot shoots up a big kind of mural that's in the
family
wall,
tree.
the tree, yeah, and like that's just good imagery. Like the whole thing. Like I'm a sucker for well animated movies. Like when the artwork essentially, like when it looks like Ghost in the Shell artwork, that right there is like half the battle for me. Like I'd happily sit and watch that just because it looks pretty.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, like that whole movie, like it's kind of hard to just sit down and say what was good about it, because it is such a kind of loose kind of gathering of philosophical ideas rather than a conventional kind of movie, I suppose. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That was it fortunately kept the kind of Sector 7 is linked to Sector 2, and Sector 2 is married to Sector 4. That stuff was all kept kind of just nice and light and just gently peppered round about the important stuff.
Yeah.
Which I was grateful for, because that kind of bureaucratic betrayal stuff just doesn't interest or tickle me at all.
What about did you think the pacing was okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I was surprised. There was, I'm not going to lie. I kind of started off by looking at seeing how long the film was, because another thing with anime, I don't know why, I just have in my head they're always long. I don't know why. That's probably unfair. I imagine most of them are probably 90 minutes. But when I saw this was just under, I was like, oh, thank God, it's going to be okay. And so yeah, no, I thought it moved wonderfully. I think like the starting on the just immediate pace, the really hard going, we're in the middle of something and you need to work out what worked very, very well. And the kind of the reveal of the Puppet Master came at a good point for you to then just kind of hurtle onwards to the final shocking reveal.
What about I was kind of worried that you might find it too slow at points though, because like it does this thing. Like the first time I watched the movie, I thought it was crap because I thought it was boring.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about 1995 it came out, so I would have been 12, and just too much of it went over my head. But like I thought it was like just amazingly slow and crappy, and it was one of those films where, as I watched it over the years, it kind of slowly became a film that I thought was amazing. But like that part, about halfway through the film, it takes like a 5-minute sequence where there's no dialogue, none of the characters are in it, and it's just animated depictions of this futuristic Tokyo. It's like it's showing you like all the canals and the back streets, and it kind of lingers on like the shot of the plane coming into land and stuff like that. Like, what did you think of those moments? Like,
I really liked that, because it kind of for me was a sort of an almost emotional climax of life. It was these examples of experience and the idea that is there something sort of inherently wonderful about that? Is there something inherently just in living? And and what do we gain from that? What is there in it? And is the fact that that's also through a film medium, so we're experiencing the experiences of these people, adds that extra weird layer of reflection and kind of trying to work out exactly what we're getting from it, and whether because it's also based in a very busy city, there's an element of these people who are just kind of passing through it and not maybe paying attention to what they've got the chance to enjoy. So yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was really lovely, and actually that moment specifically, there was kind of in the beginning, the very end over the credits, and that scene, the music in it is really, really great.
Yeah.
Just
I'm really glad you enjoyed it.
I didn't expect to. So yeah.
Has it changed any of your preconceptions of what anime is?
Like if if somebody, like, I still feel like if somebody said to me like, oh, I've got this film, and even if they gave me the plot of it, that kind of I always have with chocolate bars and any kind of food, like I'll be eating away at it, and then somebody will say, oh, that's got raisins in it, and just immediately I've got, wow, no, I was enjoying this, but now it's disgusting.
You mean this chocolate is only hand drawn?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't help but feel like there's still like a bit of me that's. I feel like I'm almost just setting that up just so, like, well, we have to come back next week.
Well, I think this has been a successful first episode.
I think so. And even if I'm maybe if I wouldn't watch an anime off my own back, I am excited and I trust you to give me something that's going to continue my journey.
Right. I think it would be unfair of me to give you nothing but these more subdued efforts, though.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I'm in two minds of what to give you next.
Oh.
There is a movie called Origin. It's kind of lesser known. Like, it's not anywhere near as well renowned as Ghost in the Shell is, but it's one of those more environmental messaged kind of animes. It's got like a lot more kind of Japanese cultural significance to it rather than this whole kind of just trying to solve crimes and stuff. So I was thinking of either giving you that one or going in the entirely opposite direction and giving you Cyber City Oedo 808, which is, it's not a movie, it's a TV show but only has 3 episodes that are 20 minutes each.
Okay.
And it's the other end of the thing where it's just fast-paced action. It's the plot of this one is that they're criminals who are given life sentences in the hundreds of years, and in order to get rid of those sentences within their own lifetime, they can do police work. So it's criminals doing police work with explosive collars around their neck, and it's like just waiting everywhere. There's violence all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
Easy. There's robots. There's villains. It's just it's like an animated action movie. Like, it feels like something that should have came out in the 80s and starred like Van Damme or something. Okay. What would you prefer?
I think I'll take the second one. That sounds intriguing. That sounds.
The only problem with that is it's a VHS tape.
We did have a VHS player, but I don't think I have. I think it belonged to one of Danny's friends, and I think she had to give it back before she went away.
In which case, I think this week you might be getting Origin.
Yeah, I'm going to take the first one.
I'll try and get a hold of Cyber City on DVD.
Okay.
Have you any thoughts on what you're going to give me?
Well, I gave you Fiddler on the Roof, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Shit, yeah, Fiddler on the Roof.
Which Fiddler on the Roof is not only probably my favourite musical, but one of like my favourite films.
So no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. Well, I thought like I needed to kind of reward you by giving you something a little more sincere, I suppose. Because Repo I kind of gave with a little bit of a sort of playful poking. So this is completely 100%. I love this movie. I love the music. I love the story is kind of fine. The story's okay, but the performances are great.
Right.
Very, very catchy, into your bones songs.
See, now that I find intriguing. I'm willing to give that a shot.
Plus, I should kind of stress, like, yeah, it's very, very Jewish. It's very Jewish.
Well, luckily, I'm not an anti-Semite. So.
Thank goodness. And especially you do like the Coen brothers, who also are pretty darn Jewish.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I've just kind of got a weird sort of fascination, I suppose, with sort of Jewish culture. Just so I don't know if that kind of plays into how much I like it.
Well, I look forward to next week when we get to, come back here and exchange
views again, exchange cultures,
grow as people.
That's, if I can
maybe
only do one thing,
help the rest of the planet realise that if we can change, then they can change as well. Just like what you said at the end of Rocky IV.
I think that should be our sign-off to this.
I think it should be as well. It's gone drastically over the 10-minute cap that I would
That
say.
you imposed.
It's now 10 o'clock. It's been like an hour and a half.
Holy shit.
Right.
Sorry.
So if anyone's watching this and they liked what they saw, because who wouldn't like looking at Paul?
Comment down below.
So, we are part of a quintet called Raptors in the Kitchen. We do movie podcasts, or sometimes on Tuesdays, more often than not.
Wednesdays.
Thursday. We're all quite Scottish, so if you understood us, well done.
Mm.
And I'm going to sign it. We'll catch you guys later. You can listen to us on YouTube or find the links on Facebook.
iTunes as well.
And iTunes and Google Plus. And some people are on Twitter. I'm on Twitter. I don't know what my Twitter handle is. I don't use it. You can tweet at me if you can find me.
Good luck.
That's your challenge, Internet. Right, Paul.
Okay.
I'll catch you on Tuesday, mate, for the podcast.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks for entertaining this grandiose idea of self-betterment.
Okay.
Right. Bye, dude.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you too.